Hello, sixth graders. We are continuing on with Unit 2. Our next lesson is Order of Operations, or PEMDAS. Learning target, I can evaluate expressions using the order of operations. So make sure you have the title on your notebook. Here we go. Okay, when we use, when we have problems and we're using order of operations, we think of this as PEMDAS. This is how we solve the problems. So the P stands for parentheses. E is exponents, which are the numbers that are up here. Remember, we talked about those in our last lesson. M is multiplication, D for division, and then addition and subtraction. Multiplication and division, we solve those left to right, whichever one shows up first. And same thing with addition and subtraction, solving them left to right. So make sure you have that written down, and then pause and add these vocab words with the definitions to your notes as well. The first one, numerical expressions. These are problems that have numbers and at least one operation. So an example of this would be 7 plus 8. That's a numerical expression. Order of operations, this is what we use to solve a problem that has more than one operation. So when we have something such as 25 divided by 5 plus 3 squared, we use order of operations to help us solve this in order to get the correct answer. Because if you solve it in the wrong order, we're going to end up with different answers. And then grouping symbols, these are what are over here in the box. These are things like parentheses, brackets, braces, the fraction bar, square roots. They are ways that we are grouping numbers or operations together. So make sure you have that all written down. Okay, so here again is the order of operations. So if you didn't write it down on the last page, write it down here. You can remember it with this little saying, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, taking the first letter from each of those words to help us figure out what the step is. So first is parentheses. So we do anything in the parentheses. After that, we solve anything with exponents. Then it's multiplication and division. Think about how you read a book left to right. We would solve these working left to right, whichever shows up first. And then addition and subtraction, same thing, working left to right, whichever shows up first. So again, over here now, in this box, evaluate the expressions inside the grouping symbols first, then the powers, multiply and divide, and then add and subtract. So this is what we're going to use anytime we have more than one operation in a problem. Okay, so here we are going to use some order of operations. So you don't need to write it all down, but you do need to have the original problem written down in your notes. So 5 plus parentheses 12 minus 3. Now, one thing that I'm going to be quite a stickler on is showing all of your steps and only doing one step at a problem, or one step at a time. I know that you sometimes might want to rush through, but we got to make sure we slow down, take our time so we don't lose information. So again, PEMDAS. Just quick write it down up here. Start with parentheses. So 12 minus 3, which is 9. Now I'm going to carry down the rest of the problem. The only thing that we have left is addition, so we can solve that. 5 plus 9 is 14. So that is how we would solve the problem. Next one, again, just write down the original problem, and then we are going to use order of operations to solve them. So we start with, so it's 8 minus 3 times 2 plus 7. We don't have any parentheses. We don't have any exponents. So then we are on to multiplication. So we're going to do 3 times 2 first, which is 6. Carry down the rest of the problem. Now, 8 minus 6, or we have just addition and subtraction left. And again, that's working left to right, whichever one shows up first. So in this case, we're actually going to do the subtraction. 8 minus 6 is 2. Carry down the rest of the problem. Now all that we have left is 2 plus 7, which is 9. Now notice my work all funnels down to my final answer. That's what we're looking for every time, showing every step till we get our final answer. Next one, 5 times, that means multiplication, that dot, 3 to the power of 2 minus 7. So to solve this, we don't have any parentheses, so then we are going to move on to our exponents. 3 squared off to the side here, remember that means 3 times 3, not 3 times 2, which is 9. Carry down the rest of the problem. Now, next would be the multiplication. 5 times 9 is 45. Carry down the rest of the problem. 45 minus 7 would be 38. Again, we are funneling down. Our work is slowly getting us to the final answer, showing every single step. That's what it says here. At this point, I would pause and try these two problems on your own. Again, using those order of operations to solve. So the first one, 39 divided by, in parentheses, 9 plus 4. Order of operations would say that we start with the parentheses first. So 9 plus 4, which is 13. Carry down the rest of the problem. Now 39 divided by 13. So it would be 13, 26, 39, which is 3. Again, funneling down to our final answer. If we had started with the division, we would have ended up with a very different answer. Next one, 10 plus 8 divided by 2 minus 6. Don't have any parentheses, no exponents, so we're going to start with our division. 8 divided by 2, which is 4. Carry down the rest of the problem that has not been used yet. Now with addition and subtraction, again, working left to right, whichever one shows up first, like a book. So we're going to do 10 plus 4, which is 14 minus 6, and 14 minus 6 is 8. So our final answer. Now pause, try these 4 on your own, come back, check your answers, follow along with any that you got wrong, and fix your mistakes. 3 times 10 to the power of 4. Don't have any parentheses, so we're going to start with our exponents. So 10 to the power of 4 would mean 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. So we're multiplying it 4 times over, which in this case, we can just count the zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. So on my answer, I would just have 4 zeros. And then 3 times 10,000 would just be 30,000. There's my final answer. Next one, 5 minus 1 to the 3rd power divided by 4. Order of operations would tell me to do the parentheses first. So 5 minus 1 is 4. I still have the exponent on there. And then we're going to divide that by 4. Next, we would do the exponents. So again, this means 4 times 4 times 4. So 4 times 4 is 16, and 16 times 4 is 64. Now we're going to do 64 divided by 4, which is just undoing what we just did. So my final answer then, 64 divided by 4 is 16. And again, we're funneling down to our final answer of 16. Next one, 14 plus 3, parentheses, 7 minus 2. Now, before I even start this, anytime a number is connected to the parentheses, that means to multiply. Okay. Order of operations, we would start with the parentheses. So 7 minus 2 is 5. We have 3 times that. Next, we would do our multiplication. 3 times 5 is 15. Now we have 14 plus 15, which would be 29 for our final answer. Okay, and I always just show that funnel just to show that we are working through every step, showing all of it that we are doing, not trying to rush through and do multiple steps at once. 6 plus 8 divided by 2 plus 2 parentheses 3 minus 1. Again, number connected to the parentheses means to multiply. Start with the parentheses. 3 minus 1, which is 2. Now, I'm going to carry down the rest of the problem. I'm only doing one step at a time because if I try to do more than that, I'm going to probably make a mistake somewhere. Now, next would be my multiplication and division, working left to right. So the division is actually what shows up first. So that's what I'm going to do. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. Carry down the rest of the problem. Now we have our multiplication to do. So 2 times 2 is 4. Again, carry down the rest of the problem. 6, now that we just have addition, we just work left to right. So 6 plus 4 is 10, and 10 plus 4, which is then 14 for my final answer. Okay, so every problem, we are using order of operations, PEMDAS, to solve the problems. All right, that is our lesson on order of operations or PEMDAS. At this point, check your understanding. How do you feel about order of operations? If you are stuck or confused, then rewatch the video or parts of it, and then make sure you have your notes in class. So put them in your backpack right now.